We've all seen the movies and TV shows that brag about the smart homes of the future, but how many of us are actually leveraging today's technology to improve our lives at home? I'm Erin from Tech Gadgets Canada and TechGadgetsInternational.com. And if you're new to this idea, where do you even begin? And if you've started by adding things like smart lights or a smart assistant speaker to your home, how do you go further to make your home even smarter? Or how can you use existing automation features so you don't need to control every aspect yourself? I recently met Tony Hardy, who's the Senior Manager of Smart Home Developer Experience at Amazon, and he works for the Alexa Digital Assistant team. Tony has mastered the art of the smart home, you could say, naturally using Amazon devices, but there are plenty of other brands that work with Alexa too, meaning you can expand the possibilities. We talked about creating a smart home, what kind of gadgets you should consider, as well as what the ideal smart home is like. Plus, we got Tony to spill the beans about how he uses Alexa devices to make his home smarter. Okay, Tony, let's talk about what the smart home is, how we get a smart home. We all maybe have this idea that it's kind of like the Jetsons. Are we there yet?
I think so. I think Amazon's vision for smart home is centered around the idea of ambient intelligence. It's about the technology that understands you. It's there and proactive when you need it, and it fades away when you don't. So that what that sort of looks like in our home is we've added pieces as we go, right? We recently did a remodel and we thought that would be a good time to go all in. But honestly, it wasn't hard to set it up to the state it's in now. And once we set it up, we really didn't have to mess with it again. It just works, it's customized how we want it. And frankly, it's been fun.
What does smart home mean to you? I think people have this vision that a smart home is very complicated. There's a lot of pieces and we've got to find ways to get things to work together. But what is a smart home for you?
Yeah, so I think what's really been helpful for us is you don't have to start big, right? A lot of the time you start with just getting a smart plug, right? And you plug it in, and we ordered one for my daughter's room. Because she turns her light on at night, but then she doesn't like to turn it off. And so we set it up so that it automatically turns off at after she's asleep. But with Amazon's frustration-free setup, when we bought it, we just plugged it in. And then on the Alexa app, it just popped up saying, your plug's ready to use, right? And so we can just say, Alexa, turn on the light, and we're done. We didn't even have to set up any Wi-Fi or anything like that. And so I think primarily it's ease of use and utility for you, right? Mm-hmm. As I said, it sort of fades away when you don't want it in the forefront. And so it's something that, turn on, you can set it up to turn it on when you want. And, you don't have to actively go and turn something on and off.
Right.
So, yeah.
So a smart home is about having your technology, your devices, your smart home gadgets working for you specifically. It's not as though if you adopt a smart home system like Alexa, for example, that you have to choose what Amazon wants you to do and things can only work in one way, right? Like it's very customizable.
Yeah, exactly. And so, not all of our things are Amazon specific. A lot of third-party products are with smart home. So, we've got smart blinds that I think from Lutron, and then we have smart lights and switches. We have an air quality monitor, and these are all little pieces you can add. It's not like you have to set them all up at once.
Right.
And with that ease of setup, then just more functionality just gets lit up, right? And then Alexa can also help you with suggesting ways to have those things work together with, routines and whatnot.
Right. That's actually a really good point, that I find it very useful to sort of adopt one digital assistant as your main assistant. Mm-hmm. And for these purposes, that's Alexa. But you're not tied to sort of only Amazon products. I shouldn't say everything, but maybe it is everything. Many things do work with the Alexa system, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have, there's probably more third-party Amazon devices that work with Alexa, and it's something that really helps with that long tail. There's so many different opportunities. So you have smart coffee makers, robot vacuums, I think there's even like a Mr. Christmas tree, and that's just really fun. I think Halloween's coming up, and so we got a set of smart light strings. The sort of like Christmas lights you can put on a tree, but it can also be a string. And again, we just plugged it in. The Amazon app said, the Alexa app popped up and said, you've got a new light string here, and we named it Halloween lights. And then we just put them up around our front porch, and we can say, Alexa, turn on the Halloween lights. And then we set them to like an eerie purple. And, my kids carved some pumpkins and put it out there. So we got this great like Halloween light porch setting going on. Yeah.
That's a great idea for holidays. But what if people haven't yet found themselves ready to start a smart home? Let's talk about that a little bit. What are sort of maybe 2 or 3 or 4 gadgets that you would recommend for people to start their smart home with? I'm going to throw out the first one, and that's probably going to have to be an Alexa speaker that can control the whole system.
Yeah, so we have, as you can see in the background, we have our Echo Show on the wall there. And that's sort of like our hub, right? We have like shopping lists, weather, our calendar reminders, and then we also have the photos that automatically upload from our phones. And so, when we just snap whatever around the house, or when we're out and about, it shows up there automatically. And that's also our control center. We also have those Echo Dots, which are really economical to purchase, scattered around. So we have some in, bathrooms, so that kids play music when they're in the shower or whatnot. Some of our nightstands. And so that's really the sort of way to start sort of controlling it. You can also have, I think the other entry points are, a lot of the time Amazon will bundle like, an Echo Dot and a light bulb or a switch, right? And so those are always good places to start, right? Because you can just screw in the light bulb. You don't have to rewire anything in your house, so you can just plug it into an existing socket and then get going from there. And that can see the possibilities for where you want to start. And then you can add more things like, blinds and air quality monitors and all that sort of stuff.
In terms of that smart lighting, talk to me a bit about what that looks like. And maybe this is a good time to introduce routines. So if people have adopted they're starting out with smart home, they've got an Echo or an Echo Show, perhaps, they've added a smart plug, maybe a dot, and something like a smart light. Talk to me about how we get that stuff to work together.
Yeah, so there's actually 2 parts that work really well. A lot of the time, when you have those things set up, Alexa can actually suggest to you automatically some of the routines that are quite common, like, wake up or go to bed, or sort of like certain triggers that you don't actually have to manually go into the app and configure. And then there's also something called hunches. And now hunches are something, it's sort of like routines, but when you opt into hunches, it lets Alexa learn about your habits, right? So if you have a light that you turn off every night yourself, and then you forget one night, Alexa can do that for you. You don't even have to set anything up, right? And it goes back to that sort of ambient intelligence that we're talking about. And so, that's sort of takes the complexity out of configuring routines, because it does it for you. But if you do want to set it up, you just go into the app and you say, it's really simple to change. You just say, when this happens, when I say Alexa blah, turn on this light, right? And then that's it. So, for us, we have this morning routine. It starts with, we have an Alexa built-in smoke detector in the hallway between our bedrooms. When the alarm goes off on the kids' nightstand, when they dismiss it, it triggers this routine.
Okay.
And what happens is, when the routine's triggered, it says good morning, tells a joke, it gives a brief update of what's happening around the world. The blinds go up and turns on certain lights in the house. It can start a coffee maker, and also plays a guided meditation skill. And so that's like a 2 to 8 minute guided meditation skill that teaches us breathing and relaxation. And that's really starts helping out there. But the point there is that it was really easy to set up, because we just said when an alarm is dismissed, and then we just clicked on all the things we wanted to do, and it showed us a menu of things that we wanted to build out there. And we can just add lights, or we can add, switches and blinds or whatever, and you can just build up on it.
So the Alexa app is designed to, I've used it. It's essentially, tap and click, and it
Yeah.
helps you through that process, which I find very helpful. I
Mhm.
have worked with smart home systems where things aren't quite so intuitive, I'll say. So knowing that if somebody does want to start out with that smart home, they've started with their speaker, added a couple lights, maybe a plug. It's
Yeah.
literally as easy as tapping in the app to tell Alexa what to do.
Absolutely, yeah, it does get easier and easier. As I said, with hunches, it can later on, once you opt in, it will automatically figure out some of that stuff for you, and so that the next morning it might have on your app saying, "I turned the light off at 11 because you forgot. Is this what you wanted?"
Right.
And then that sort of helps reinforce that without you having to manually go in.
How complex can routines be?
Um, Kind of the sky's the limit, because really you set up the action that you want to trigger routine, right? So that can be a scheduled thing. It could be you saying something. So I could say at sunset, or I can say when I say this, or I can be something like when the air quality monitor reaches bad, right? So we had one saying when the air quality reaches bad, and then the next part of routine is do this. And so that list of the actions are growing. So it could be as simple as turning on a light, or changing, turning on a fan. So when the air quality reaches a certain amount, we turn on our thermostat to cycle the air a bit more, right? It could be as much as a notification that goes to your phone, invoking a skill, like I mentioned, the meditation skill. There's basically every single function that Alexa provides. There's an action that you can set up for it. So you can announce something on all your echoes, and you can even custom text. So you can actually say, excuse me, when something X happens, and then you can type in what you would say to Alexa, and that would actually be invoked as
right.
trigger point. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways that having a smart home can be useful. I find it extremely helpful when someone rings my Ring video doorbell.
Yeah.
It pops right up on my Echo Show screen, so that when I'm sitting in my office, I can literally see who's at the door sitting in my chair, and
That's
decide if I need to get up
Yeah.
and answer it.
We have that routine set up as well, but we also sort of play a sound effect, like a Star Trek red alert sound or something. But what's great is that when a person comes to the door, we hear that as it's triggered, and then we go get the package, and that really does help with porch pirates, because that's something that it's really helpful to avoid. Yeah. And then I think on that note, from a security, and it sort of also provides a lot of peace of mind with Alexa, is that we have the smart locks on our front door and back door, and so part of our night routine is at 11 o'clock we set it up to automatically turn off certain lights.
Alexa,
it also locks the front door by itself, and turns things down. And then again, some of that was automatically figured out by punches, so that when we forgot to turn off lights or lock the front door, it does that for us. And then the hunches also do things like it can remember to use the robot vacuum while you're away, right? So
we're growing our smart home already here.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, as I said, there's so many devices. I don't have all of them. Like I do want to get a robot vacuum. I haven't got that yet. So, but yeah. So and again, you can just add to it.
Well, I guess that is important to note, is that your smart home, you can start out as small as you want, or with whatever budget you have, and then you can grow it over time. And part of that is due to the Alexa technology, because Alexa is always learning, right?
That's right. Yeah, and that's part of what I'm meaning about ambient intelligence, is that because these aren't the sort of devices you want to sort of go to and sit in front of and talk to. It's just we have some around, and you can just say into the ether, so to speak, do something, or it anticipates your need, and then it just fades away into the background. So that gives you sort of like the ease and simplicity, and also gives you sort of peace of mind that you don't have to worry about these sorts of things.
Talk to me about what it's like working on the Alexa team, and how you're able to ensure that she keeps learning and adapting new skills and understanding, and things like hunches.
Yeah, no, I think it's been great working on the team. Every day we're thinking about our customers. What what do our customers want, and how do we make it really easy for customers to use this stuff, right? And that's what it goes back to. Whenever we're adding a new feature or supporting a new device, we want to make sure it plays into that intelligence. So if there's another sensor or another product that can help add into the routine trigger, or part of learning how your habits will work with knowing that you're home and away, so that it can actually do the right thing for you. It really just makes it easier for everyone. So that's sort of what we think about in everything we do, is how to make it easier for our customers to use this.
What are some of your favorite smart home gadgets?
I think, one thing that's sort of visible is smart blinds is really cool. And it sounds so silly because they're just blinds, but we just don't have to deal with lighting or outside lighting anymore. So, on the weekend nights, we'll have a movie night where we'll say, Alexa, it's movie night. And it dims the lights around the TV. It turns on the Fire TV. It lowers the blinds and really sets the mood. And so that's something that's been great for us. I think my other favorite things is, Ring Video Doorbell really helps us, both with security and peace of mind, but also, just having a bit more awareness of the outside. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the echoes themselves, right? That's sort of in the forefront of what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think the lights and switches are sort of goes without saying. That's sort of like the bread and butter of smart home. Mm-hmm. That's been useful for us.
Lighting is funny because to go back to your point about blinds, that, they're just blinds until you add smarts to them. And then you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know I needed that. Yeah. I found the same thing was true with smart lights, that I thought, the regular light bulbs we have work just fine. And so do the switches on the wall. But It's not really until you start experiencing that automation and just the ability to call out instructions for things and they react, that you really realize what it's like and how great it is to live in a smart home.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I think a lot of the time you don't realize, well, I can just click on the button on the wall and turn off the light, right? And sure, you can still do that, but you can also set up these automations that you don't even have to think about, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's just more time for you to do what matters most in your day, right? Not dealing with your house, but having your house work for you.
Yeah. Well, and it's about making life easier too. I know our thermostat, for example, we have the Amazon smart thermostat, and it's on the other side of the house from, the closest place where we sort of lounge and hang out. So if we want to turn the thermostat up or down, it's not a big deal to get up and walk, but it's sure a lot easier to be able to just ask her to do it for you.
Yeah. Like, even when we're downstairs and the kids are upstairs having, a shower that's taking way too long, we'll say, Alexa, announce, hurry up, or something like that. And then it will sort of announce around the house that, hurry up. And then usually we get some announcement back from the kids with some smart reply. And that sort of comes up on our Fire TV or whatnot. So, it's all integrated and it already works seamlessly. Which is really
That's two aspects of the smart home that you've touched on. And one is like the utility of having a smart home and how it can help you. But there's also that element of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, what's been really fun is that, I mentioned the Halloween lights, which were so easy, but also these other things like, announcements or just, communications where, apart from being able to announce things between, each other in the house, you can call others outside. And it's just been fun.
Would you say having a smart home adds to your life?
I think so. It adds to it. And I guess we kind of take it for granted, right? Because all of these things that just happen, maybe we wouldn't ordinarily do it, but I think it helps with our day. It helps us not have to think about some of these things. So at the end of the day, it makes us, it's fun. It makes us feel sort of like safe, and also is something that just fades into the background so that we don't have to worry about it. So absolutely, it's enhanced what we do every day.
I really like that idea of ambient intelligence, or technology that understands you and just fades into the background and just works around you. I hope you found this conversation helpful, and if you liked meeting Tony and would like to learn more about smart homes and technology, hit me with a like and consider becoming a subscriber. I would also love to know who you think I should talk to on tech topics, so post your suggestions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Erin. Until the next time, you can find me on either Twitter or Instagram. I'm at ErinLYYC. You can also always catch me on Facebook at facebook.com/TechGadgetsCanada.